Welcome back to Golf Today. Time now for Manage Your Expectations, presented by Arccos. We welcome back Lou Stagner of Arccos. Lou, we had a great show the last couple times we've talked, great feedback. Last week's segment, and so many viewers have reached out with more questions on amateur data. The golfers really want to know, so let's dive right into the questions. The first one is from Golf Guru. Lou wants to know, what tendencies do you see with good rounds versus bad rounds for amateur players?
Yeah, thanks, Damon. I get so many questions from golfers that are curious about data for players at the same skill level as they are. And that's one reason why Arccos is a great addition to every golfer's game. When you track your data, you can get powerful insights about your strengths and your weaknesses. You can compare yourself to better players. For example, like if you're a 12 and you want to be a 5, you can use Arccos to see how you compare to 5 handicap players. Understanding this is going to help you focus on the right things. So now let's get to this question here, good rounds versus bad rounds. For us amateur players, our better rounds are driven not by more birdies, but by less big numbers. When a 10 handicap player shoots 90, they average 3 more doubles or worse per round than when they shoot 80. And when they shoot 80, they're only averaging about a half more birdie per round than when they shoot 90. Our big numbers are mostly driven by penalty strokes and recovery situations. We need to minimize the penalty strokes, and once we get into trouble, we need to minimize the damage. Sometimes coming out backwards from the trees is the best option.
So well said. I mean, no doubles, no triples, whether it's you or me, Ricky Fowler, we got to keep those big numbers off the card. Now, the next question comes from Dead Solid Perfect. How many strokes does it take the average scratch player to get down from 210 to 250 yards?
We're going to look at this a couple of different ways, being in the fairway versus being in the rough. And being in the fairway helps, but that really depends on the course you are playing. As long as it's not Oakmont thick rough, there's only about a 1/10 of a shot difference between rough and fairway at shorter distances, and that difference decreases as we move farther from the hole. In the fairway, from 210 to 240, scratch players average 3.56 to 3.73 shots. Now, this one here might surprise you. From 210 yards in the fairway, a scratch player is nearly 5 times more likely to make double or worse than make a birdie. And for our 10 handicap friends, they're about a half shot worse from this distance, so make sure you are managing your expectations.
Hit the hybrid if you need to hit the hybrid. I mean, it's okay. Safety or wedge, like you said. I like what you said about chipping backward. If you have to do it, do whatever you can to avoid the double. Too much double talk on this show. Next question from Jim Reed. Jim wants to know where he stands on driver distance. He must have been watching Bryson at the World Long Drive. He's a 3 index. Lou hits it about 240. What's the breakdown of 0 to 5 handicaps driver distance?
Sure. As a 3 handicap, Jim's 240-yard average puts him about middle of the pack for 0 to 5 handicap players. It's no secret that distance is important. Better players tend to hit the ball longer. For example, 23% of 0 to 5 handicap players average more than 260 yards with their driver, while only 4% of 10 to 15 handicap players are going to average over 260. And while we are on the topic of distance, a reminder that it's important to know how far you hit all of your clubs, not just your driver. That's why using Arccos to track your data is the best way to really know your game, so you can make better decisions and improve your scores.
I love that information, Lou. I'm hitting the ball hard right now, really enjoying the game. Thanks for your time. Speak to you next week.
Sounds good, Damon. Thanks.
All right, Lou Stagner with Arccos Golf.